What's up, my brothers from another mother? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Entrepreneurs in Cars in the R8 since I changed the exhaust. The last video I did in this car was in the fall, but just before I stored it, and since then in the spring a few weeks ago, I put a coilover suspension on the car, mostly because I had to because the rear struts were leaking, and a new exhaust system. So we're going to see if I can do this video with a loud ass exhaust on the car. It's basically straight pipe, not quite, but we'll see if it works out. It's a GMG racing exhaust for those of you that want to ask. So this video today is about money. We're going to apply the red pill lens to the matters of finance and money, and I think it's an important one to talk about because a lot of people go around in life going, that's too expensive, or I can't afford that. And I'm going to make a alternate suggestion to you, which will transition or open your awareness to another way of thinking about money and obstacles that might be placed in your way, or things you deem as obstacles, shall we say. So first things first, I want you to replace anytime you say I can't afford that, or that costs too much, with that's not a priority, because that's essentially what you're saying. I'm sitting in a car right now. I just sold the M5, by the way, so any videos that I'll be doing in the near future will all be done in here. So I'm sitting in a car right now that costs roughly 4 times the amount of the M5. I put a lot of work in my entire life to grab this little bad boy, and I'm grateful that I took the time to do all that shit, because if I didn't, I'd be driving something else, because I would have been saying to myself, it's not a priority. The truth of the matter is getting this and investing in it, and I look at it as an investment, of course, because I believe it's going to hold its value or go up in its value, just the way that it's structured and set up. But the point of it is, I never looked at this and said it costs too much. I never looked at this and said I can't afford it, right? Because had I done that, I would have never done the work to get it. And that goes for anything that might cost you $100, $1,000, $100,000, or $1 million. It doesn't matter what it is. There's price points for everybody that might seem expensive. When I was 10 years old, a $10 item might have been, I can't afford that, or that costs too much money. When in reality, had I said that's not a priority and then reconsidered it, then I would have known, in fact, if it was or if it wasn't a priority. This car for me was a priority. So I never went around saying I can't afford it or it costs too much money. Something like this was a priority for me, so I made it happen. So anytime you ask yourself that question, and I got to get going. So let's see how this works out with all the noise. Anytime that happens, let's put on the air conditioning actually, so I don't have to have the window down. Sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds delightful. All right, let's turn this up. So anytime something comes up in your life where you look at the item and you say to yourself, I can't afford it, or that costs too much money, I want you to replace that with that's not a priority for me. And if you still agree that you don't want to do the work to accomplish or get whatever it is that you're looking for, then don't buy it. Don't do the work, skip it. It's probably not a priority for you. But if it really is a priority for you, and you should be doing the work, you know what you got to do. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort to go and get what it is that you really want. Nobody's going to hand anything to you. You don't deserve anything in life. Nothing. Anything that's worthwhile is going to take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort for you to get and accomplish. Trust me on that. I worked for a long time to get this toy and any other toy that I've bought in my entire life, and it has been worthwhile, because I knew that it was a priority for me and what it was that I wanted to do. So guys, simple video. I hope that helps. Kind of a little bit of a test with the audio quality in this car. Maybe I'll do some longer form stuff in the R8. Really enjoying it. Summer's heating up right now. It's supposed to be like in the 30s next couple of days with quite a bit of humidity. Oh, that brings me to the next thing, just to wrap this down real quick. We just announced tickets for the 21 convention, which is in October. It's basically a red pill convention for men that want to up their game, become better versions of themselves. They just announced Alan Roger Curry, which is the author of Mode 1. I've had him on for some Patreon premium content. He's a great speaker, and he'll be around for the entire event like he was last year. So if you haven't bought your tickets, prices will go up at the end of May. I think it's May 31st. Anthony is increasing the price, and they're going to keep going up till about $1,800 or so. Price right now is $9.99. So if you want to go, there's a link in the description below. I highly encourage you to look at it. If you say to yourself, I can't afford it, or it costs too much money, replace those words with it's not a priority. And if you still agree that being blue-pilled and plugged into conditioning that doesn't serve you is what you want to do, stick with it. Entirely up to you. but it's your life. You run it whatever way you want. So I encourage you to take a look at the roster. I'll be there. All these guys are very available. There's a heroes dinner and a VIP party at Socrates' house. It is definitely worth the money for a 4-day event. I pay anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 for similar type of events with not even close to the same amount of content. I will be bugging Anthony to increase the price. So there you have it, folks. Ask yourself that question. Whenever you say to yourself, I can't afford it, or that's not worth it, replace those words with, it is not a priority. And if you still agree it is not a priority, then it is in fact not a priority because you said those words. If you disagree when you say those words, you know you got some work to do to go get what you really want because you're bullshitting yourself. Have an amazing day. We'll see you guys later. Peace.